What's going on, everyone? Welcome on in. Coffee with Brodes. Here we are, another day after that miserable, miserable Game 7. What's up, everyone? What's happening? What's going on? Was it Tuesday? I'm losing track of days. It's been literally one day this week. I'm very disappointed. First off, yesterday night, I recorded an entire podcast and I was super excited to upload it. And then the file was corrupted and I was devastated. So I'm pretty disappointed in that. But I will record another one later today. You have what's his name speaking today, so we can talk about what happens with him. Daryl Morey's going to be speaking, so we can probably break down some of that action and kind of discuss what's going on in that area. But yeah, pretty disappointing. I was a little gut punched, if you will, but that's all part of the business, I guess. Let's see if all right, everything's good here. All right, let's take a sip of coffee, everyone. That's what we do. So cheers. Cheers. Amazing. A little bit of the toothpaste taste, though. Not going to lie, that was a little toothpaste coffee combination and not very good, but it takes a couple sips to get that out. All right, here we go. Clark says, did I see Ben Simmons changing his shooting? Yeah, that's insane. That's why it's in the title a little bit. I mean, these people that think that, oh, here we go, everything's going to change. He's going to change his hands. What are we doing here? He's 24 years old, and we're talking about breaking him all the way down to try and fix everything. I mean, are we serious with the table of where Joel Embiid is, the timetable of Joel Embiid? We're now going to break down Ben Simmons from the bottom and strip him from everything he ever knew about shooting and try and fix that. I mean, it's a joke. It's an absolute joke. It's a joke. There's no way in hell I'm sitting here waiting for Ben Simmons to relearn how to shoot at age 24 years old. Get this fraud out of my city. Get him out of my city. 24 is young. Well, guess what? Joel Embiid doesn't have that much time. I don't have 7 years to wait for Ben Simmons to rewire his entire body and his entire brain. I just don't have it. I don't have the time for that nonsense. It's embarrassing. All of it's a joke. Doc Rivers saying, oh, I know how to get it done. It's about how to do it. Not what it is. It's how we apply it. Get the fuck out of here. Get out of here. Yeah, I saw what he said about positivity, this and that. The guy doesn't shoot a basketball. He doesn't shoot a basketball. I don't give a damn. I don't care. It's not on me. It's not on me year 5 till baby Ben Simmons. It's just not. Now, look, there's a human element here, okay? There's a human element here where I get it. It's not, it's not normal. I'm sure it's very hard to deal with. I'm not saying I envy it. I don't want to be in the position of having 90 billion people screaming at me, telling me I suck. He also gets paid $100 million. He also makes over $30 million a year to play basketball. This is your craft. This is your job. You get paid to do this. No, he doesn't. He does not shoot. He had 0 shots in the last 4 quarters of NBA basketball. He doesn't shoot. His only shot was what? That Cork Moss alley-oop play that was a shot that he just ran into and reversed it. And that's not a shot anyway. It's a joke. No, he doesn't, Zach. You know nothing about basketball if you tell me that Ben Simmons shoots. He sucks. It's a joke. Why should they have hired Tibbs? Why? Tibbs is the guy whose message runs dry in about a year or 2. It's a joke. What is Fultz? What has Fultz done for people to believe that he's turned it around and become this player. What the hell has he done? He stinks. Markelle Fultz stinks. He's supposed to be the first overall pick that can be a legitimate NBA star with the first overall pick. He averages 12 points per game. If you tell me Markelle Fultz becomes 12-5, he stinks! Stinks! I mean, really, all these people talk about, the Philadelphia runs players out of the ground and runs them out of town. What? Fultz stinks! He stinks. He's on an Orlando Magic team. He dribble drives and does a spinorama and takes a mid-range jumper, scores 12 points. And I'm supposed to say that Markelle Fultz is some superstar player that they passed up and moved on from, and he's some stud. The Magic stink. Fultz stinks. And the Sixers did not move away from some player here that they really botched. It's a joke. Shoots 25% from three. He speaks at 11. He speaks at 11. So that's why I don't know if we're going to get much information, to be honest with you. It's probably going to be another situation where it'll be like Doc Rivers, where Doc Rivers is just going to speak and not say too much. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he does say something that gets me going a little bit. Let's see what else we got here. As a basketball player, I can speak when saying that putting up open shots in the gym is completely different. Of course it is. Of course it is. And then you intensify it by the NBA playoffs, and we're talking about a totally different beast. There's no point in trading Ben. No, there is a point. I can't watch another season of him playing point guard and you lose. No way. We're giving him another chance now, really? We're giving him another chance. Oh, maybe he'll shoot. He won't. He won't. I'm not watching another season of regular season basketball where he does all these things in the open court, where he does all these things in transition. And then here comes the postseason and he stinks. I'm not doing it again. I'm not. Where is his value getting any higher? When he loses next year in the playoffs? When he does the same thing and the same thing happens again? It's not getting any higher. This is Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons will never get higher. This is what he is. He'll show the same deficiencies next year in the playoffs. He'll have the same problems next year in the playoffs. It'll happen over and over and over again. There's never going to be a time where he becomes a player that you can rely on in the playoffs. Where is this going? It's a joke. I'm done with it. Yeah, Ben Simmons is going to shoot because he's going to switch hands. Oh my God. How dare you believe that Ben Simmons now is going to be some force with the snap of your fingers, may I add. No, this won't take years. This won't take legitimate years. This will take a couple months to change Ben Simmons. It's only been 5 seasons now since we tried this. Hey, Ben, maybe you should be more aggressive. Oh, okay. Yeah, that'll be the difference. Just telling Ben to be more aggressive. Come on. Come on. How naive can you be? Hugh says, I'm not giving him another chance, but I'm not trading him for a low-level all-star. That's what he is. That's what he is. You can hold out all you want. He won't. No, he no longer gets you James Harden. He no longer gets you Damian Lillard. You're waiting out for this false thing to occur. That's what you're doing. It's not reality. Waiting for him to get you a superstar. It won't happen. There's a reason why we're moving on from him. There's a reason why he was that disgraceful in the playoffs. Like, you're waiting for this false thing to occur where he's automatically somehow going to go get you a stud now. He won't. So you think waiting on to him and holding on to him for what? To fail again is now going to get you that James Harden piece that you want? Just won't happen. He no longer gets you that. He's now in the category of CJ McCollum and D'Angelo Russell and players of that nature. But what do you mean sell him too low? This is who he is. Where is he becoming? Some elite player again. Regular season, no one's going to be fooled by regular season basketball. Everyone has seen him play in the postseason. Like, your trade value isn't going anywhere. It's not going back up unless he gives you 50 points in the playoffs. He ain't doing that. I'll tell you that for free. Joke. The only way you have a chance is if NBA superstars demand out. And that happens. So there are players that demand out of cities, where Kawhi wanted out of San Antonio. And that happened. So yeah, if a star wants out and demands out, and you put together Tyrese Maxey, Ben Simmons, and some first-round picks, maybe you have a chance. But it ain't going to be because you wait longer. And it's like, oh, hold on, let's see if other teams watch him next year and think he's a star again. That's not why it's going to happen. It's going to happen because the other team is forced to get a player out. I would love De'Aaron Fox. Let me ask you this. If you're on the other side, would you give up De'Aaron Fox for Ben Simmons? Because there's no way in hell I would be giving up De'Aaron Fox for Ben Simmons. So if you're Sacramento, would you do that? Because I wouldn't. By the way, Edward Sterling donated $2, said, why does Ben shoot with his left? He's using the wrong hand. This has been a conversation forever. What hand is he? He can use both. He can't use both. He's right-handed. When he wants to finish at the rim, he does this. Nobody knows. Yet I'm supposed to believe that Ben Simmons is now going to automatically change, and we should wait because Ben Simmons is switching hands. I mean, are people going crazy? Are people going nuts? The answer is yes. People are going crazy, and they are going nuts. Martin sends in $5. Send a message on my Brodes Media account for a longer super chat. Could you read it in here? It depends on how long it is and whatnot. But thank you for the $5 donation. I appreciate that. Zach, you're done. You're just saying outrageous things. Oh no, damn it. Window supplies, cleaning services. I blocked you by mistake for 5 minutes because the chat went up to like 10 times. That's stupid how that works. I apologize. I wish can I get you back? I can't get you back. No, I can't get you back. In 5 minutes, cleaning services, you can talk again. I apologize. Damn, I hate when that happens. Yeah, it says here, thanks for getting us through the pandemic. Looking forward to battle the Monday Scaries with Birds talk, although, of course, we were talking Sixers. Thanks, Brodes. Keep it real always. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. Trading him at this point is the dumbest thing we can do. No, it's not. It continues on to say, keeping him until the trade deadline just to see if he'll shoot. No. It's not the dumbest thing you can do. You got to get rid of Ben Simmons. You have to get rid. He won't work here. Once you heard the angst underneath the basket, that missed dunk opportunity, that was everything. It's no going back. Ben Simmons is a lost puppy here in Philadelphia. It's not the dumbest thing you can do. You got to move forward. The Ben Simmons thing is over. It's done with. This is where we are. Now we're telling me that, this offseason, is Ben going to do this? Is Ben going to do that? Switching his hands for the 6th year. The 6th year now. That's what we have to do. I mean, are we dumb? Are we dumb? That's the dumbest thing. 6th year, we're going to start now having the same conversations. All right. All right. I mean, it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. Ben doesn't care about getting better. He already got the max. I don't think that's necessarily true. I do think it bothers him, to a degree. Like, there's an element where I feel bad for a human being. Then I also hear him say, it is what it is. I am what I am. And he kind of goes back and forth with D-Line. I'm saying, I'm not going to allow you to say that about me. I am what I am. I is what it is. So there is an element of that, too, where it's like, I'm not going to change. So there's a combination of both. But I don't think it's to the point where it's like, well, I'm rich, so I don't care. I mean, no, you could see it in his face. I mean, he's feeling this. He's having a ton of emotions running through his body. It's not like he's not impacted by what went down and how brutal and painful and how embarrassed he was. There is an element of that in him. So I'm not going to go to the full level of he's not bothered and he doesn't care at all because he got paid. No, I mean, you can see it in his body. Yes, we've seen this. It's an embarrassment. Embarrassing that we're now at the point where he's changing. Oh, Ben's going to be special because at 24, he's going to strip down everything and start over. Get his ass out of here. I'm not waiting for that garbage. I'm not waiting for him to change hands. Change hands. Change hands. Here we are. Hey, everyone, change hands and wait for Ben Simmons in the next 6 years. So by year 11, we could have the Ben Simmons we all wanted. Get the fuck out of here. Get out of here with that garbage. No, I want nothing to do with Kemba Walker. Nothing to do with Kemba Walker. Crazy. It's insanity because the definition of insanity, yes, we do know the definition of insanity, and you're right. Does seem that way. Crazy. Who would I like to trade Simmons for? I mean, look, in an ideal world, obviously, I wanted Damian Lillard. Damian Lillard with Joel Embiid. I don't know how the fuck you get that, though. You're not even close to that. That's like I'm in la la land if I think Ben Simmons can get you Damian Lillard. Where I think you are now is I think you're a CJ McCollum. I think that's the category you're in, and I hate this because that you're not a very good team if you take away Ben Simmons, and you're not a very good team now though. But you're not a very good team if you just swap Ben for CJ McCollum. You're not. So it's on Daryl Morey to get very creative and to start getting a lot of, he's got to get creative for sure. Connor thinks that changing hands makes no sense. You have to make the shots. He just doesn't. It's mentality. I mean, I think that there's an element that he's been shooting with the wrong hand. But, at this point where you're changing so much of a makeup of a player so deep into his career, this is something you had to do 6 seasons ago. Uncle Phil says Popovich would bench Ben and surround Embiid with shooters in the first unit and do the same with Ben in the well, then how many minutes of Ben Simmons would you get? 7? I mean, you talk about playoff. First off, no, he wouldn't. I mean, no, he wouldn't. This would not actually happen. But number 2, you play 40-something minutes in a playoff game. 40 minutes? So what would that be? 8 minutes? Like, where are you getting all these players? It's like, no, that would never happen. That would never happen. A Ben Simmons for Zach LaVine at this point, sign me the hell up. If I'm the Bulls, why would I get rid of Zach LaVine for Ben Simmons? Why would I trade for Ben Simmons? Who watches Ben Simmons in this playoff run and go, you know who I want right now? I'll give up a 30-point scorer so I can go get Ben Simmons. I mean, in what world would you do that? In what universe would an individual make that happen? I'm fired up, man. I'm fired up today. Maybe it's a good thing that podcast I recorded yesterday corrupted so I can kind of refresh and restart, because today I'm way more intense than I was last night. So maybe it was a blessing in disguise that happened. So because I'm going to let it rip. I'm going to let it rip. I'm going to scream. I'm going to lose my damn mind. So you know what? Maybe it was a good thing that last night happened with the corrupt file, and I can kind of listen to Daryl Morey, hit the reset button, and kind of attack a whole new podcast because, I mean, I'm just sick thinking about everything with this Ben Simmons joke. Yeah, Ben and Dwight lineup suck, and they use it in a game 7. I mean, are you kidding me, Doc? Doc sucked. Doc was a loser head coach. And I mean that in terms of winning and losing. Doc's a loser head coach. He really is. Would I rather trade Ben Simmons for a point guard and re-sign Danny Green, or trade him for a wing player, let Danny walk, which can give Maxey a chance at starting point guard? I want another point guard because I like Tyrese Maxey. You take a significant step back in terms of winning a championship if your primary point guard's 20 years old. I want to go out and get a real point guard, an experienced, savvy, veteran point guard who is an actual player in this league, all-star caliber point guard. I like Maxey. And one day he could be the player I'm talking about, but he's not that yet. And I'd rather Maxey be a role player, bench player, spark player. If Tyrese Maxey is your starting point guard and you run something with point guard with him, a shooter, Seth Curry, Tobias, and Joel, you're a second-round exit team again. And there's not a lot of hope. There's not a lot of there's not a lot of expectations to do anything serious because you can't win a championship with a 20-year-old point guard without getting anything significant in return this offseason. So I want a point guard. I want a real legitimate NBA all-star point guard to pair up with Joel Embiid. That's what I want. John Wall. I mean, no, but I mean, that might be where we're at. What is that? Come on. Are we serious with this? Are we using our brain? Rondo for Ben Simmons? I mean, come on. Are we using our brain? John Wall? Is that where we're at now? Gave you 20 points per game. Shot 31% from 3. Woof. No. 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 Is that where we're at now? John Wall? Oh, my God. But that's where we're at. I mean, that's where we might be at, you know? That's terrible. We might be in the John Wall stage of what you can get in return and when you end up moving on from Ben Simmons. You're right. John Wall sucks. Kemba Walker sucks. These type of players sucks. No way. No way. I love it. No way. That's where we're at. That's where we are at. It's crazy. It's crazy. John Wall, Kemba Walker, because guess what? You know, I'm thinking to myself, what is real? What is real? It ain't Damian Lillard. What type of – at that point, you're right. I'd rather go Tyrese Maxey than John Wall. Yeah, I mean, I'd rather run it with Tyrese Maxey any day of the week than go with John Wall. You're right. Thank you for the $3, man. I appreciate that. Thank you, Martin, for the $3. If you think that's a bad take, my friend suggested we trade Ben for Blake Griffin. Jesus Christ. His reason was Griffin can play defense. Oh, your friend just doesn't watch basketball. That's what it is. Your friends just don't watch basketball. D'Angelo Russell can play pick and roll. Yes, he can. He can shoot. Yep, he's also a snitch, though. D'Angelo Russell, I mean, that's probably better than a lot of the other things that was mentioned today, Kendall. Probably better than a lot of things that was mentioned today. Yeah, Kemba Walker and then John Wall, all bad. All bad. Just make Ben go righty. Why? He stinks. He absolutely is bad. Why am I going to sit there and now wait for him to change hands and think that everything's just going to be all great? I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy. D'Lo is an underrated passer. Would I be if I go to D'Angelo Russell? Is it the worst thing in the world? No. but I don't love it. I don't feel good. He shoots almost 39% from three, which is pretty solid. Average about 20 points per game. He's 24 years old. He only started 26 games this year out of the 42. Was there a reason why that was? I don't know. Was there a reason why he wasn't starting all the games? I mean, he was on a Minnesota team. So was he coming off the bench for a certain reason? He played 28 minutes a night. I don't love it. I don't love it. That's for damn sure. All right, what are we doing with this stuff? I don't want D'Lo. Look, I'm not telling you I'm thrilled and jumping up for joy with these names that we're throwing out there, but I'm just saying, like, I'm talking a little bit of reality here. Ben, Shake Milton, and 2 firsts for Zach LaVine. At this point, if you can get Zach LaVine in return for Ben Simmons, now that's something that I think I'd at least be a little bit intrigued by. These other names, not really so much. You throw in Zach LaVine. It's funny. Before it was like, no, that was the cutoff. It was James Harden, Bradley Beal, and then Zach LaVine is where I think I draw the line because I don't think that Zach LaVine is anything special, and Ben Simmons can get you more, and you can get that next tier. And now it's like I'd be stoked. I'd be running around naked in South Philadelphia if you can find a way to snag Zach LaVine now at this point. And that's where we're at. But it doesn't, it makes a lot of sense that we are here. It makes a lot of sense that we're at this point because you just are that brutal in a playoff series where your stock is just destroyed. Ben Simmons under 12.5 in game 7 was the easiest. I can't get over that throwdown, that reverse dunk that he threw down when Furkan Korkmaz threw that shot up. It's like, dude, oh my goodness gracious. That's how you're scoring your points. Furkan Korkmaz floater that's horrendous that Ben Simmons comes out of nowhere. And I'm watching Herder try and shoot the basketball over Seth Curry every possession because he has a mismatch. Ben Simmons has a mismatch every single time. Ben Simmons has a mismatch with Trae Young 7 feet away from him, and he passes the ball up. In that moment, he will never live down. I'm scrolling through TikTok every single night, right, when I'm going to sleep, and the amount of Ben Simmons, like mocking Ben Simmons videos that has been popping up on my feed ever since that moment is just unbearable, and it's like, damn, it has reached an all-new point of where Ben Simmons is, and it's fair. It's fair criticism. It's fair for it to be this way. It's all fair because of, how brutal it really is. How brutal it is. And I know sometimes you can hit rock bottom and that could be the spark to change you, but it's not in his DNA. It's not who he is. Ben Simmons will not change to be a shooter. I mean, like, people are acting as if no one's ever told Ben this before. And now it's like, oh, well, hold on a second. Do I need to change? Ben, what are you talking about, Ben? Like now all of a sudden, why now? It's been 5 years and now it's not reality. When his instincts come back in, which is what's going to happen when he's playing, that will show up again. $10 coming in from Sixers 205. Didn't have to be this way, Ben. I still think he's on the roster opening night. I'd throw up. I do think that there's a chance Ben Simmons stays, unfortunately, and I will be extremely disappointed if I need to watch another season. It would be damaging. I'd lose so much joy. I'd lose so much entertainment value. Like, I would be very crushed if I need to sit down, put my feet up every night and watch the 76ers play, because here's why. Everything that happens in the regular season, none of it matters. None of it matters. Whatever I watch for 82 games, which, I mean, to be fair, is how it is anyway. I've been saying that for years now, where, whatever happens on your Tuesday night in February's means absolutely nothing when you're in a 7-game series of going back and forth and adjusting and battling in a playoff battle. But anyway, I'm watching all this, and it's like, who cares? Who actually cares? That's what stinks. There's no way I can do that. Right-handed Ben Simmons, Brodes, get hype. No. If we get CJ, Seth would have to move to the bench. Seth Curry off the bench as your 6th man. CJ McCollum in there. Yeah, what, Maxey, McCollum, and Seth with Tobias and Joel? You're right. No shot in hell. You'd get exposed big time. Gregory says, how are people still defending Ben? We have 4 years of data on him being the same exact player. Now they're banking on the fact that it got so low that there's no way else up from here. And that's all great in theory. That's going to take 9 years to rework a Ben Simmons mindset. He doesn't have the mindset to shoot. And it's clear as day. Everyone's been telling him that there has to be some sort of offensive change to him, and nothing's happened. Get Malik Monk. I'll be honest with you. I wanted Malik Monk in that draft. What draft was that? Malik Monk draft. Talk about a bum. Although, did he have some problems with drugs and all? I feel bad if that was the case. Is that where they got Matisse Thybulle? Who did they get that year? 2017. The Philadelphia 76ers select. Oh, that was the Fultz draft? Why would I want Malik Monk? Because they had 3 at the time? Maybe that's he ended up going 11. Now, in what world would I want Malik Monk? Well, they made the trade. So at 3? I mean, there's no way I wanted Malik Monk at 3. But, I mean, he dropped. I remember him dropping. What did Malik Monk do this past season? Someone saying Malik Monk had a good season. So funny. He averaged 12 points. He shot 40% from 3. Played 21 minutes. Didn't start any games. But you're right. I mean, considering he was a bum that first year, he shot 34% from 3 that first year, had 6 points. I guess you're right with that. Yeah, a little bounce back. Mickey, me and you, but we both wanted Malik Monk. I know I wanted Malik Monk, but it's funny looking back at the draft. There's no way I wanted him at 3, so maybe it was just in general where it was like, well, if they were drafting this high, I would love a player like Malik Monk. But I agree with you, man. He would let it fly at Kentucky. So damn funny. Fucking Malik Monk. Doc's just going to keep babying Ben, says Vincent. Probably. Like, they think they have this masterful plan. And Doc is a big part of this. Now, when Brett was here, everyone said that it's Brett's fault because he didn't force Ben to shoot. You can't force people to shoot. Doc took it to an extreme, though, of saying, Ben, don't listen to what anybody says. Do whatever you want. And, like, there's an element of that where you went way too far, Doc. You went way too far in the wrong direction now. Where, I mean, come on. I mean, part of this is on you for the way that you babied him and you took it to such a different extreme where you crossed the line. You crossed the line. If Doc has say, Ben's staying, I know. And him and Daryl Morey are going to have conversations. But, I mean, Doc, if I'm Daryl Morey and I allow Doc to have that much say, well, then I'm not as good of a president of basketball operations as I need to be. Sometimes you got to make tough decisions. Sometimes you got to put your foot down and say, screw you. This is the decision we're making. Did you watch Ben Simmons in the playoffs? We're going to get this player. Daryl Morey has killer instincts in terms of going out and getting stars, going out and getting bigger names. I'm hoping that shines through. Sixers 205, $5. After that UCLA Kentucky game, I was convinced Monk and Lonzo were going to be top 5 in the NBA. I didn't know too much about what Lonzo was going to be. And in terms of Malik Monk, I mean, I wasn't going to tell you that he was going to be the next Ray Allen. I just remember I enjoyed watching him shoot the rock at Kentucky, and I thought that would maybe resonate a little bit more because shooting. I mean, if you can shoot, you can shoot. It's just about shooting the damn basketball. But if you remember, there were some issues there with him a little bit with some things off the court and whatnot. But, yeah. Pascal Siakam developed a shot, is now a three-point shooter, working on mid-range. Siakam played less basketball than Ben Simmons. Sigh. Yeah, that's because 99.9% of basketball players grow, and they add, and they become better players. So that's why 5 years ago, when everyone said, I told you 5 years ago to get rid of this bum. Well, players grow 99.9% of the time. I was willing to take a chance that Ben fell in that 99.9%. Unfortunately, he fell in that minor outlier, and here we are today. So, it's not wrong to wait at 20, 21, 22, 23 to see if they can blossom into a player. But at some point, it's like, all right, can we stop? Can we stop? It's time. It's time to recognize the problem here. Crazy. Colin Sexton, basically, for Simmons at that point. He's a standard point guard, young, fast, explosive. Colin Sexton. The bar is so low, huh? Colin Sexton. I like Sexton. 24 points per game, shoots 37% from three, shot 38. Is 3-point shooting. That's strange. 40% his rookie year, 38% his sophomore campaign, 37% his third year. So each year going down, which is a little odd, with his 3-point shooting attempts going up. I mean, yeah, if you get a point guard that gives you 24 points per game, oh, Sexton's a ball hog. Now we don't want Colin Sexton. He's a ball hog. He does only average 4 assists, but I think if you're playing with Embiid, if you're playing with a different team, you're playing on the Cavs. It's a lot different when you're playing with Joel Embiid, when you're playing with other players, when you're playing for a coach like Doc who talks about ball distribution and getting the ball going a little bit and ball movement and things of that nature. So maybe that would change and the assist numbers would go up with maybe the points per game dipping a little bit. But I mean, I would be intrigued. I'd be intrigued for sure. I'd be intrigued. Doc is suitable for underdog teams. He made 8th seed LA Clippers competitive. Wait, what? He made 8th seed LA Clippers competitive against Golden State. Choke them once, but he's not good with team with star player. He's a losing coach is what he is. Doc Rivers is a losing coach. His resume speaks for itself. Embiid should have more say than Doc. Maybe he does. Maybe he does. Who knows? Dwight on Instagram Live last night told everyone to stop slandering. And yes, I saw that. And my message to him is Ben should be a better basketball player. This is all part of the job. I get it. It can't be easy. Like I was driving around with my fiance last night, right? We went out to get some sushi. So we're driving around and I had a little bit of sports radio on and I'm like, do you think Ben Simmons listens to this? And she's like, absolutely not. And it's like, caller after caller after caller. Bum, get him out of here. He stinks. He's awful. He's terrible. He's a joke. He's this, he's that. And it's like, I get it. But dude, like, this is being called, I get it. People can go overboard, and there's no denying that. So I'm not saying there's no one who crosses the line. Of course, people cross the line. But this is called being held accountable. This is being held accountable. This type of reaction is what happens when you don't score. What are we supposed to do? All right, Ben, don't worry about it. It's okay. It's not okay. It's not okay. You need to be shown that this is not allowed. And saying that you stink and getting all outright, this is called being held accountable. You did a poor job. This is the reaction. Things need to change. It is what it is. Yes, JSA, there are people saying not to move on from him. There are people that are saying it's time to not move on from Ben Simmons. Well, it's not. Look, it's not Embiid and Ben. It's not Ben and Embiid don't work. It's Ben doesn't work. That's what it is. It's not Embiid and Ben. It's not the combination of Ben and Embiid. It's Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons doesn't work. Ben Simmons won't work with any team. Ben, as he is as a player, as he is as this player that we witnessed this season, that doesn't work. It's not the combination of the two. It's one player. It's that issue right there. Yeah, I mean, I got it. Ben, wait, what? What's going on here? Hold on. I thought of getting Mark Jackson after we fire Brett Brown. He's another one that got fired. Like, the example that everyone used to get Brett Brown fired was Mark Jackson. Sometimes you need that head coach to bring in here to change everything up. The Golden State Warriors fired Mark Jackson to get Steve Kerr. And then it's like, oh, let's get Mark Jackson. You mean the guy that you use as the example that needed to get canned? You want to hire him? You know what I mean? It's like that doesn't make much sense. Um, Mike Scott has to retire. Yes, he does. Is Ben Simmons' contract reaching Al Horford bad? No, not yet. Absolutely not. And for as bad as Al Horford's contract is, he got moved a couple times. So, and that's as much as you want to talk about bad contracts get moved around the NBA all the time. So, as bad as it might be, and it's not that bad, it's not as bad as Al Horford. People still view Ben Simmons as a high upside guy who's very young, who might be able to grow. I mean, that's just still going to be the narrative surrounding him just because of the untapped potential that he has. But ultimately, you think about this. Ben Simmons and that contract, if you can move Al Horford's a couple times, you can move Ben Simmons. You just moved Kemba Walker's. You can move Ben Simmons. Oh, excuse me? Excuse me? He had one bad playoff year? Oh, okay. Are you new to basketball? Ben Simmons forced this team to play 4-on-5 in playoff basketball for years. Years. Jimmy Butler and those isolation plays and all the shot clock violations and not getting good shots up. It all stems from 2-5. All of it. Everything stems from Mr. 2-5 over the last handful of years in the playoffs. Brad Stevens, the Boston Celtics, the first year they went to the playoffs. Why did they lose? Because they walled off Ben Simmons and he could not play the sport of basketball in the playoffs. Every year, Ben Simmons has had a bad playoff year. Every season, Ben Simmons has had a bad playoff year. So this narrative that one bad playoff year and it's time to get rid of Ben, no. Every playoff year, and nothing has changed since that first playoff series against Boston. The same thing that could abuse him in that first playoff run still abuses him 3 years later. That's not an issue to you? Goddamn. I feel sorry for you then. Sure, but that's like 9th on my list after Ben Simmons. It's not ironic that when Ben Simmons leaves the floor and you have an actual point guard that can take pressure off as an actual threat to do pick and roll play, that Tobias Harris played very well in Game 6 because there's more room to operate. Everything all stems with having more room to operate. Now, to a degree, Tobias Harris is what he is, right? I mean, he might have those games where he's not the most efficient. And sure, he is overpaid, but that's, really, that's Tobias Harris, that falls a little farther on my list. This is what he is. I mean, Tobias Harris is not like a major, huge, insane monster problem. He's not. There's times where he's not as strong as he needs to be, but that's who Tobias Harris is, and you know you overpaid for him. This Ben Simmons thing is totally different. $3 coming in from JMCP. Brodes, nothing can express my anger. I'm so mad. I'm with you. Oh, I'm with you. I'm so with you. It's a very frustrating thing to watch. $5. Just call me Flair. Ben Simmons has a good chance of staying. I'd be pissed. His contract situation's crazy. No, it's really not. It's not. I just went through this. You could trade Al Horford. You can trade Al Horford multiple times. You could trade Ben Simmons. The contract is not going to be the difference in a team taking a chance on Ben Simmons. That's not what it's going to be. So everyone thinking that there's no way that a team is going to trade for him because his contract. Someone just traded for Al Horford twice. You traded Al Horford twice. You got rid of Kemba Walker. There's bad contracts all throughout the NBA. This Ben Simmons one at 24 years old is not even close to an egregious contract that you can't move. So, that it's just not true. Just not true. Yes, but Tobias Harris is still, once again, like not the number one problem with this basketball team. You figure out a real point guard and everything else changes with the dynamic of this team. That would be a devastating blow if you're waiting until the trade deadline to move on from Ben Simmons. Devastating. No, Ben shouldn't get, Ben was horrendous. Ben's trash. Ben's been bad for 5 seasons. Tobias Harris, not even close to the same thing as Ben Simmons. Not even close. Jamel, not even close. I don't know how you don't see the same. One guy just passed up a dunk a half an inch from it. Philly like giving away money. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I think I've had enough of whatever Jamel wants to say. Would I trade for 5? Of course, but why would they do that? Why would you trade Jamal Murray for Ben Simmons? No one. No one would ever do that. Why would you trade De'Aaron Fox? Why? If you're on the other side, how do you sell your fan base? I'm going to trade De'Aaron Fox for the guy that's one of the biggest embarrassments in NBA basketball right now. Why? Crazy. Crazy. Ben literally won't look at the rim. Yeah, see what people are doing now is saying, like, the Ben Simmons supporters are basically saying, why only yell at Ben, yell at everybody else? Well, at that point, you're deflecting and you're trying to, like, bounce off the issues to put blame on other people. Yeah, it's Ben's fault, but it's other people's fault too. That's what the message is for the Ben supporters out there. Why aren't you mad about that 6th problem on the list as much as you're mad about the first problem? Well, because it all stems. It's a big snowball effect. Problem 1 forces problem 2 to be more significant, which forces problem 3 to be more significant, which forces problem 4 to be more significant, which forces problem 5 to be more significant. And I'm not telling you that getting a point guard, like hypothetically, if you get a guy who's a nice player but nothing special like D'Angelo Russell to run your point, you don't become a championship caliber team just throwing any point guard out there that changes to more of a pick and roll style of play, and now you're an NBA title team. I mean, it's not that simple. You need to get the right guy, the right superstar, the right piece, the right pieces around them. I mean, there's a lot. It's not that simple. But, I mean, come on. It's pretty clear. Simmons value's at an all-time low. Teams are not going to get value for a low price. Right place. Or right now, best bet you can get is CJ. With that, you're still not going to win a championship. But, oh, well, hate Ben, trade Ben. It's not hate Ben, trade Ben. It's not going to work. And it's like, well, let's wait for the trade value to get high again. What do you think is going to happen? What universe are we living in where Ben Simmons is just going to automatically change and become a player that now you can go get James Harden again? That his stock is going to rise. Well, he's at an all-time low. Well, where is it going to get better? When he becomes a 20-point scorer in the playoffs? Okay. Like, when is it going to get better? It's not. It's not. Everyone is going to remember this. JoJo, 8 turnovers are a result because we are forcing Embiid to be the point guard at the top of the key. You're right. You're forcing a 7'2" body frame to run your offense every possession late down the stretch, and it's just not sustainable. It's not something that you can realistically do every single possession in a playoff game, game 7, 4 minutes to go, nonstop. You need help to take pressure off of the big man, and you do that by having someone who can be a threat with the ball in their hands. Like, that's an issue. We're the only team in the NBA that doesn't run pick and roll because you can't. Because you flat out can't. Because one man is not a threat. To be honest, I don't know if I like Simmons switching his hands. He's still not going to shoot. It's the fact that we're holding our hat on someone switching hands is just a joke. It's what it is. The fact that we sit here today on June 22nd, 2021, having optimism, and I don't have optimism, but there are plenty out there that think the change is he's going to now be a different force because he's switching his hands is probably one of the biggest laughing things in the world. Was Brett Brown that bad? Doc has not changed anything. Maybe there's Brett Brown coached better than Doc Rivers did, and it's not even close. It's not even close. You go back to that series against the Toronto Raptors from game 1 to game 7. Brett Brown coached his ass off. Coach Brett Brown went toe-to-toe to Nick Nurse until there was nothing more you could possibly do because you just didn't have enough on your roster, while Nick Nurse went double big man with Serge Ibaka and Marc Gasol, and that really swarmed the Joel Embiid experience, and he didn't have enough to counter. Brett Brown coached his ass off in that series against Toronto, even though everyone said, yeah, but they were shot clock violations. Yeah, you're playing 4-on-5 and saying, Jimmy Butler, go win me this game, playing 4-on-5, and you just ran out of options, unfortunately. Doc Rivers sucked. Doc Rivers absolutely sucked in this playoff run. Sucked. Brett Brown was way better. Way better. Yeah, he did. He did. He had to play Greg Monroe. Now, Dwight Howard sucks. I mean, Dwight Howard's running over Trae Young like an idiot and things of that nature, but you don't go 10 deep in a playoff game 7. You just don't. I agree with this. If Brett Brown's playing, you know why? Because you don't lose game 1, you don't lose game 4, you don't lose the game 5. Like you don't lose one of those games where you're not in a game 7 to begin with. I agree completely that if Brett Brown's on this team, you do not lose this playoff run. I don't give a shit that they let Jimmy Butler go. Jimmy Butler's he's just a talking figure. I work hard. That's great. You lose. He's not a very efficient player. I mean, look, I'd like Jimmy Butler if he's here. Okay, I'm not crying about it. He's not a superstar. Okay, he's not. He's not what Kevin Durant gives you. He's not what these players give you at the end. Jimmy Butler, nice player. He's having issues in Miami, just like he has issues everywhere else. Would it be nice to watch him play with Joel Embiid for a little more two-man game involved? Probably. Wouldn't be mad if he was here, but I mean, I'm not sitting here crying that you don't have Jimmy Butler. I think you have issues with Jimmy Butler. I think you have problems with Jimmy Butler. I think you have some good moments with Jimmy Butler, but you're not Jimmy Butler away. Jimmy Butler's having plenty of issues in Miami for a reason. It is what it is. Jimmy's a superstar? No, he's not. What superstar are you watching? Jimmy Butler's a superstar in what world? Maybe because he tells you he's one. Maybe because he wants to, I'm a superstar. Yeah, okay. He's a fraud. Nice player. I'm smoking that Zaza. But what have you seen out of Jimmy Butler? Besides him telling you he likes to work out at 3 a.m? Come on. Stop it. They got their asses kicked. If Tatum is Jason Tatum is a superstar in the making. Jason Tatum's ceiling is higher than Jimmy Butler's. It's for damn sure. $5, Brett wasn't better. Brett significantly... All I said was Brett significantly coached better than what we saw out of Doc Rivers in the playoffs this season. If you look at how Doc Rivers coached this season, he sucked. Brett Brown did not suck in those playoff runs. You just didn't like Brett Brown, and you were biased. Every move he made was the worst ever. What Doc Rivers did, every move he made was basically the worst ever. And that's not being biased. That showed in losing to Brett Brown never lost to an Atlanta Hawks team. Like, you just lost to a team that you should have won in 4 or 5. When you lost to the Boston Celtics the first time around, you lost to a team that you were young. Like, losing that team was not an embarrassment. You were a serious favorite to kick the shit out of the Hawks. And you lost in 7, lost 3 home games, lost game 1 because of a coaching decision to not put Ben Simmons on Trae Young. You used Danny Green. terrible. You blew a 26-point lead, which it's not just ironic that he blows all leads and he leads the NBA in blowing games in the playoffs. Brett Brown did not lose to, you lost to the champions in Kawhi Leonard, who was the best player on the court in that time, losing to the Toronto Raptors. That team that season was the best team. They won the championship. You never lost with Brett Brown to a team that was just that much worse than you, like a disgraceful level of worse than you. Doc Rivers does over and over and over and over and over again. Over and over and over and over and over again. Yeah, that was a product of the bubble. Let me see him do it again. I mean, it's a product of the bubble. There's a reason why they were where they were this season. Yeah, Doc's not a good head coach, and it's clear. Now, I'm not telling you Brett Brown's an elite head coach. All I said was, Doc Rivers is bad. Brett Brown's better than Doc. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Brett Brown coached better than Doc Rivers did here in Philadelphia. It's just that simple. Yeah, Doc Rivers is crazy. But yeah, that's where we're at today. So it's 10:01. We're going to wait for Daryl Morey to speak. I'll throw up. Unfortunately, you're right, and I'm going to throw up seeing that because Kevin says, I'm with you, but Doc and Simmons are going to be here. Yep. But anyway, I want to thank everyone so much for hanging out with me today on Coffee with Brodes. It's been a lot of fun. We're going to have to slowly, slowly, we're still going to be screaming about the Sixers for a while now, I'm sure. But, we're going to slowly transition back into the Phils tonight, right? So we're going to get back into those. And I don't know if that'll be fun. I was going to say that'll be fun. Probably won't be fun because, they're a disaster as well, unfortunately. But I want to thank you all so much for hanging out with me. I'll have a Sixers pod up today. We'll be talking about what Daryl Morey says, be freaking out about Ben switching hands and all that great stuff. Thank you all so much for hanging out with me, and I will see you guys on the next one.